Hello everyone, I am Jessa LLEDO and today we will be discussing what is assessment, what are the roles and purposes of assessment. So first let us define what is assessment. So assessment is an evaluation or estimation of the nature, quality or ability of assessing the educational needs of an individual. Meaning, this is the systematic basis for making inferences about the learning and the development of the students. Assessment is a guide and serves as a direction of the learning of the students. It helps every individual to understand and evaluate the lessons that have been taught. Assessment plays an important role in our life, especially to us students who still seek for guidance of our teachers in understanding our topic. So, as part of evaluating our knowledge and comprehension of a certain topic or lesson, the instructors demonstrate different strategies such as activities that include pings, quizzes, assignments, projects, and even oral recitations. There are a variety of assessments that teachers show us to measure how deep our comprehension is. The assessment is not only for the learners, but also it is also for our teachers, and it plays a crucial part for them because it helps them know what should be the strategies used to let the students make the learning environment easier and be aware of the distinct personality of the students. Through this, the teachers will recognize what are the weaknesses and strengths of the students inside the classroom. Classroom assessment plays a vital role in the teaching and learning process. It helps teachers identify students' strengths and weaknesses, as I discussed earlier, adjust their teaching to meet students' needs and promote learning. Classroom assessment is an ongoing process that provides feedback to students and teachers to improve teaching and learning. So the purpose of classroom assessment is both formative during instructions. Why? Because it is to improve the students' learning and summative. It documents the students' proficiency at the end of an instructional unit or at the end of our lessons. The assessment is for learning approach to teach and learn to create a feedback which is then used to improve students' performance.
One, we have five assessments here: the formative, diagnostic, evaluative, facilitative, and motivational. So formative assessment is an essential tool for differentiation and adaptation of teaching to raise levels of students' achievement and to achieve a greater equity of student outcomes. So the next one is the diagnostic assessment. So this assessment is used to identify students' strengths and weaknesses in specific areas of learning. So it helps teachers identify students' learning needs and adjust their teaching to meet those needs. So this assessment is also used to identify students who need additional support or intervention. So the third one is the evaluative assessment. So it measures students' achievements and provides evidence of students' learning. So it is used to determine whether or not the goals of the education are being met and affects decisions about grades, placement, advancement, instructional needs, curriculum, and funding. So the fourth one is the facilitative assessment. So it is used to promote learning and help students achieve their goals. So it provides feedback to students and teachers to improve teaching and learning. So facilitative assessment is also used to help students develop an awareness of how they learn and use that awareness to adjust and advance their learning. So taking an increased responsibility for their learning. Yun. So lastly, the motivational assessment. So it is used to motivate students to learn. So it provides feedback to students to help them understand their progress and to encourage them to continue learning. So motivational assessment is also used to help students develop a positive attitude towards learning and to reduce the test anxiety. purpose, and roles for the learners. First is the assessment for learning. So, assessment for learning, this assessment helps teachers gain insight into what students understand to plan and guide instructions and provide helpful feedbacks to students. So, next is the assessment as learning. So, assessment as learning, students develop an awareness of how they learn and how that awareness to adjust and advance their learning, taking an increased responsibility for their learning. Next is the assessment of learning. So this assessment measures students' achievement and provides evidence of students' learning. Of assessment. So assessment determines whether or not the goals of education are being met and affects decision about grades, placements, advancement, instructional needs, curriculum, and funding. So the roles of assessment is to improve instruction, to identify students' strengths and weaknesses, so, provide feedback, and enhances the student success and learning.
Rules of assessment discuss 5 teaching learning process. It includes formative, diagnostic, evaluative, facilitative, and motivational. Formative. Formative. The goal of formative assessment is to monitor students' learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructor to improve their teaching and by students to improve learning. So, like for example, the teacher give a short quiz after the lesson. So, stop. By analyzing the result, the teacher learned that many students have difficulties with measuring. So, therefore, the teacher decide to provide additional instruction to this topic or discussion. So, next is diagnostic. Is a form of pre-assessment or a pre-test where teacher can evaluate students' strength, weaknesses, knowledge, and skill before their instruction. So, like for example, before the starting a math course, the teacher administer a pre-test to assess student current knowledge of fundamental concept. Through this, the teacher discovered that some of students have prior knowledge in various aspects of the course, allowing them to tailor their teaching to meet individual needs. Next is evaluative. Help in assessing and judging whether the candidate are capable enough for the learning program. Okay. Example. At the end of the month-long history course, the teacher conduct a comprehensive final exam to evaluate overall learning of the student. The exam result allow the teacher to assess the success of each student in that particular courses. Provide an educational atmosphere where students have opportunity to fulfill their potential for intellectual, emotional, physical, and psychological growth. So, example, during a group project in a science class, the teacher acts as a facilitator by providing guidance, resources, and answering questions as needed. They encourage students to work together, explore different ideas, and problem solve co- collaboratively. The teacher ensure that the learning process is student driven and foster critical thinking. Next is motivational. Provide valuable insight into a person's work related interests by measuring what motivates them and what they need in order to succeed. So, like for example, in a literature class, the teacher play a motivational role by connecting the assigned reading to real-world relevance. They might discuss how the themes of a novel relate to current event or personal experience, sparking student interest and showing them the practical value of literature. The teacher also recognize and praise
student effort, fostering positive learning environment that motivate them to participate actively and excel.
Domain in Bloom's taxonomy. So we gave here an example on each domain. So first domain is the knowledge. So the example of the objectives here in knowledge is define key scientific terms related to the content area, identify to recall important scientific facts and concepts. So same lang din sa comprehension, example ng objectives. Ito naman sa application, so use the scientific method to design and conduct experiment to test the effect of temperature and rate in photosynthesis. So this talks about the photosynthesis. It's a science curriculum. So these objectives here are related to the curriculum that we're taking in course because we are BS Ed or Bachelor in Secondary Education major in Science. So here are the example on objective examples in synthesis and evaluation. So that would be all. Thank you.